Welcome to Club Damingo, brought to you by Cyclone Comics.
Yes, record to that computer, not someone else's computer. Are we on? Oh, hello.
Hello. What are you doing here?
Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Tim. How's it going?
I'm good. You just asked me just as you were about to press go. Do I get any feedback about the show? I actually meant to say this the last couple of recordings we did, because I was at Comic Con and Paper Cuts, and lots of people actually say I'm really enjoying listening to you and Gary once a week. So I get quite a bit of people talking to me about it, which is great.
Right. Okay.
I think I'm starting to get, especially if it's in a text or something, I'm starting to get people prefacing discussions with, "This is not for the podcast, but." So there's that as well.
I do know that we have a new listener, relatively new listener in Bernard Callio, and he's worked his way through all the shows. He emailed yesterday and basically said,
"Come back to us, Gary. You're all fuzzy. Hello. We're going into a dream sequence." There we are.
I don't know why it does that. It never used to. Anyway. So
Bernard Callio's on board.
And he's powered through all the back catalogue, and now he's going, "Where's more episodes?" He's inking the project, and he's listening while he inks. And of course, there's plenty of time to go through a half hour to an hour long episode. So
yeah, awesome. Hello, Bernard.
Yes.
Love
what else is happening? We've got this weekend coming up. This is the Tuesday, and we've got the Stanley Awards and the ACA, the Australian Cartoonist Association weekend, this weekend down in Hobart. That's my comic cover for the latest ink spots, which everyone is receiving now. That is, yes, there we go.
Yeah, finally got my copy. Beautiful work, Gary.
I got
always
mine.
Love to see new Jackaroo artwork. Amazing.
Yeah, so that arrived this morning in the mail, which is very unusual, because in timely events like that, I generally get my copy of Inkspot a day after the event.
I only got mine the other day as well.
Yeah.
And those that don't realise, like that's the statue for the Stanley Awards, and that's based on a cartoon where a guy's hanging off a girder and another guy's hanging off that guy's breeches, which are down around his ankles, and the first guy is laughing, and the second guy is saying, "Stop laughing, this is serious." And that's what you've done there as well. You've done
homage. Yes,
a homage, which is
so I might whack in a little frame of that cartoon, the original Stan Cross cartoon, so people can see what the homage is all about.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yeah. It's a great Australian kind of piece of humor there. Stop laughing, this is serious. Yeah.
Which the original art several years ago was discovered by someone who got in touch with Nat Carmichael for verification, and Nat sort of like went over and with this big framed original inked artwork. I think that's how it went anyway. And Nat was going, "This is the bloody original." This 1933 or whatever it was.
We all thought it was like it disappeared forever. So what a great story that is.
So I think
it should have been turned into an episode of a value story or something like that.
Yeah. So it's now the original is
talking about Aussie. Sorry, go on.
In the not state library, National Library, I think. It was actually deposited or bequeathed to one of those big libraries that can look after it properly. Yep. But again,
good idea.
That may be wrong, but in a general sense, I think Nat coordinated for it to be bequeathed to an institution that can look after it. How's that for a generalisation? I think that covers everything.
Yeah, I think that's great. Considering the amount of research that we did about that subject, zero. I think we've done well. Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
Yes. What else? Overnight, I got some very sad news about Christopher Mills passing away. Now, Christopher Mills is an American comic book writer and editor. He was back in the day an editor at Techno Comics. I don't know whether you remember that imprint.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And so I got to know him when we worked together on a website called adventurestrips.com, which was a offshoot of moderntales.com that Joey Manley put together back in the early 2000s. This is when web comics were first becoming a thing, and people were finding their way on how best to make money out of it and how to post online and do regular updates and stuff like that. So Joey had organized Modern Tales as an online anthology of paid subscriptions. You can get the latest episode for free, but to go into the archive, you pay a cheap bit of money to access the archives. And there was a whole swathe of creators and projects that were housed on the site. So it was a true anthology site. And it had some pretty high profile things. John Law was on there for a while, but he branched out into several other sites using the same methodology of Modern Tales to other genre sites. Like I think one was Graphic Smash, I think was an action and adventure site. Adventure Strips was an homage to adventure strips, so right back to the 1930s, but also modern style adventure as well. And that's where I had Red Kelso running for a while back in the early 2000s. And Christopher Mills was the editor of that site, and he also wrote a thing called Gravedigger, which was a crime heist comic that the main character looked like Lee Marvin, so it was all very 1970s new wave heist film kind of that whole vibe. So he was a fantastic writer that didn't really find the big spotlight, but he knew what he liked, and he went into self-publishing as well. And Atomic Pulp was his imprint. If you do a search for that, you can still buy stuff online. Very 1970s vibe to it, both in horror and superheroics. And he was very, very stubborn in what he thought was a good comic and what he enjoyed the most. And more power to him for sticking with his taste and style and sticking with the guns to produce what he wanted. But he's been very ill for quite a few years, and his Facebook profile, he was quite honest about going to dialysis and how it was slowly wearing him out, and his time was slowly going to grind to a halt, and he couldn't put up the fight for much longer. And so everyone who knew him knew that he was going through some tough times over the last 12 months, 2 years. And just the last couple of days over the last week, he decided to not go to dialysis anymore and to discuss his ongoing palliative care and things like that. And only a couple of days after he stopped dialysis, he died in his sleep. So it's the best way to go instead of being any more in pain or discomfort compared to what he was on a day-to-day basis. But his going forward on a day-to-day basis was pretty tough going, like going every couple of days to get blood transfusions, and he was just always exhausted, and his quality of life was pretty dismal. And for him to be brave enough to coordinate his end-of-life plan and for it to happen fairly smoothly for him, I thought he was very, very brave. So, rest in peace, Chris. He was a great comic book fan and a great comic book guy. And, he didn't deserve to have the last, 5 or 10 years with his health woes. But that sort of happens, and he dealt with it as best he could. And he had control of his ending, which was what he wanted in the first place. So rest in peace, Chris Mills.
Yeah.
Were you aware of him at all or any of his work?
Not greatly, no. What you're talking about with what he did rings bells, and I just had a quick look at Atomic Pulp, and I recognise some of the covers and the logos, etc. But yeah.
So he was always a writer that should have been more well known than what he was. He was always pushing, and after a while, it became just apparent to him that he wasn't going to make that jump. So he was quite comfortable just in his own lane, doing his own thing. And I think he got a lot of comfort from that, seeing the comics that he was producing and dealing with the artists that he dealt with. There was a small circle of guys that were amazing. They were on the same page as him. So, and again, he was fairly not bullheaded. Well, he had bullheaded, stubborn as far as what he wanted, and for a reason, because he knew what worked and what didn't. So he was a very skilled craftsman as far as that style of comic is concerned. So if you're interested into that 1970s superhero vibe, Atomic Pulp comics are great homages to that stuff, public domain characters and things like that as well.
Yeah.
So what's that that quote from Indiana Jones where, like life gives you so much and then after a point it starts to take it all away?
Right.
You sort of get to a point at a certain age where, people that you, because he was more than just an internet pal, because I've worked with him in the past and kept in touch over the last 20 odd years. So you develop these relationships with people, and then you find that they go through their late in life struggles, and then they go through, then they're not around anymore. And it's just another little thing that's been taken away from you. From a certainly a very selfish point of view, I wish you were still around, but there's the weeks.
But that's also like an experiential point of view as well. Like your experience of life is completely, like, it isn't going to be the same now because you haven't got Chris there in the way that you had before. It is a really weird thing, isn't it? The finality of death, and how when somebody's gone, they're just so gone. It's weird, and it's crazy, and
it pisses me off that the world keeps on turning. That you get some people that are removed from the day-to-day dynamic of things for reasons, and yet the world by default just keeps on turning. And it's like, no, pay attention. Something special has happened, and he's gone. And the world keeps on going, and then a week passes, and a month passes, another year passes, and it's like, were they even here? Yes, they were. You got to keep on remembering them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I woke up to today. God damn it!
Oh, right. That was this morning you found that out. Oh, man.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm sorry to hear it. Yeah.
But you get weekends like what's coming up now, where a bunch of cartoonists that don't usually see each other in the same room get together for like the Stanley Awards, and you have a warm glow about the whole thing because you catch up with people that you only ever see online, and then they're all in the same room together, and it's and that's exactly that's the one redeeming factor of arts festivals and pop culture conventions and things like that, is that you do get to see and socialize with people that you only text or Facebook post during the year. So those opportunities are golden to catch up with people.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to Hobart just turning on the wonderful Tasmanian
turning on the
weather.
rain and the thunder and rain. So this show is going to be posted hopefully on Thursday night. And so that means tomorrow I'll be seeing you. And then the Saturday, I'm doing a panel for the Australian Cartoonists Association weekend. I'm doing a Saturday afternoon panel with Glenn Lumsden and with Alyssa. I forgot her last name. I'll have to edit.
Bermudez?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I met Alyssa at Paper Cuts. Lovely person.
Does she have a New York accent?
I don't know if she has an accent. I don't know how New York it is. And isn't there like 5 different New York accents as well?
Everyone else has an accent. I don't have an accent.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you do. So fantastic. Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Belle says I have a Sydney accent still when I say things like beer.
Right. That's a Sydney way of saying it?
Apparently so. She's from WA, so she says weird things in a WA accent.
I wonder if it's just me being an old man, but I feel like there's a tendency at the moment for younger people, and possibly not even younger people or people that are that young, and I feel like it might be a Melbourne thing where E's are turning into A's. So it's not Melbourne, it's Melbourne.
Okay, yeah.
And I've now become so attuned to it that I'm hearing it on the television constantly, and it drives me mad. Where people say we've got to go to an election. It's an election, not election. Like I can hear So now I've alerted you and all the kiddies at home to it. I hope that you all like grind your gears every time you hear it as well.
Grind your gears.
I suppose if you don't watch free-to-air television, you probably won't hear it. But I'm hearing it all the time. It drives me mad.
Yeah, and the other thing I've noticed in editing these shows each week is that I'm not very animated on the camera. Not really. I sort of sit here and I'm a little bit like and sort of talk. So I've got to remember to be more animated. Yeah. Anyway, so
we're doing sequential art, which is panel after still panel.
That's right, still panel. Yeah.
Animated.
The timing is in the gutter. Yes.
So there's a great, like, I know that we're talking to possibly a small percentage of the kiddies at home, but if you're in Tasmania and you haven't bought a ticket to the conference on the Saturday, it's a pretty good lineup. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing what Millie Holton and Evie Hillier have to say as well, because they're doing very indie sort of animation at the moment and having some success with that. So that obviously is of interest to me with what I'm trying to do. Speaking of animation, Gary, I don't know what side of the screen you're on, but anyway. So yeah, all of that kind of stuff. So few good things going on there. So yeah, not too late to come if you're
not at all.
in Melbourne or Sydney or Brisbane, even WA, whatever.
Then there's the Stanley Awards on the Saturday night, which is always good fun.
Are you up for one yet? They haven't announced the shortlists yet, have they? The nominees?
No, I don't think so.
They haven't.
No,
I don't think they have. Surely you're up for one for.
Don't call me Shirley.
Perhaps you're up for one.
Who knows? Who knows? But the good thing about the
you look so natural with your new animated. The new
thing about the Stanley Awards is that it's all voted by the peers, the membership of the Australian Cartoonists Association. So, like Thunderbirds.
Do it, Gary. yeah,
or
do it,
Mr.
Gary.
Squiggle, hurry up, hurry up.
Yeah. So the important point you were trying to make there was that it's a peer voted system, which means that the people who are part of the ACA are voting on their peers, which has its good and bad points. So yeah,
that's right. Yeah. This being active on a show is very tiring.
Yeah, you'll be having a nap after if you keep this up.
Why don't I go foggy all of a sudden? Focus on something. No. Now the camera's going to
because now it knows that you're there. You're not just part of the background.
That's what happens when you're animated. The camera behaves itself.
That's right. It knows who you are.
Yeah. Anyway, so do you have anything on the list to talk about? Have you done your homework?
Not much. You know, it's interesting that you were talking about your friend Chris passing away, because a couple of weeks ago, Anne-Marie and I saw a musical called Rent. Don't know if you know Rent.
Rent.
That's the famous song from it.
Yeah.
You're obviously such a fan of musicals, are you?
Or Team America.
Is that? Oh, right. I haven't seen that. Is that from that? Is it?
Yeah, they did a piss take on that. And,
yeah. Oh, right.
They turned it into a musical about AIDS, and it was like AIDS.
Right. Oh, it's pretty large part of Rent was that. That was a part of it. But the interesting thing is, it's not one of my favorite musicals. I probably won't see it again. I wasn't that enamored with the songs or anything. But it was written by a guy, Jonathan Larson. It was written by Jonathan Larson. And you might know Jonathan Larson's name from the film that came out a few years ago called Tick, Tick, Boom, which starred Andrew Garfield.
Right, okay.
Which is also a musical. And it's a autobiographical musical that Jonathan Larson wrote about himself and about growing older, and the fact that the musical that he's been working on for, I don't know what it was, 10 years or something, is probably never going to go anywhere. And then he wrote Tick, Tick, Boom as a kind of a way to work through those issues of growing older and feeling like you're not getting anywhere. And then the next musical he wrote was Rent, and it's one of the biggest musicals ever, and it was a huge success. And it's just, if you wrote what I'm about to tell you into a storyline, people would probably say, oh, like, that's a bit on the nose. There's no way that would actually happen. That you would call the story Tick, Tick, Boom, and it'd be about the fact that you can hear the clock ticking and time is running out and your life, is getting away from you. And he wrote the musical called Tick, Tick, Boom about that, and then wrote Rent. And I don't know how many years later Rent came out, but Jonathan Larson died from a brain aneurysm the day before opening night of Rent. So He never even got to see it happen. on the stage, like on opening night, and it's like how. It's almost like he knew this was coming. You know, if you watch Tick Tick Boom, and like I said, Rent's not my favorite thing, but Tick Tick Boom is incredible. I love it so much. I've watched it a number of times, partly because I need Jonathan Larson to tell me again that time is running out and you better get to it. It's got a beautiful song. I forget what it's called, but the song is about why does he write musicals, and he wrote this beautiful song about him and his mate who started to go into musicals when they were like teenagers and whatnot, and he just talks about, you know, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, right? So it's just beautiful to hear Jonathan Larson via Andrew Garfield tell me that again and again.
And you can swap out musicals with comics, and it's all pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He it's actually a film that I tell my students to watch probably after their first trimester, when they might be feeling a bit beat up about how hard the study is, etc., and try to remind them about why they're in this in the first place and what they want to get out of it, and you know, the fact that nothing's ever easy or simple. I've spoken to you. I don't know whether we've said this on the show or not in the past, but I've spoken to you personally in the past about what's the television show about the chef and the bear? Yeah, about the bear, and you swap out being a chef for being any kind of creative person. And I think the bear, especially seasons 1 and 3, are like just stupendous for that. Or is it how many seasons have there been? There was one season that felt a little bit weaker, but in general, just amazing for making you stoking the fires inside you of going, that's right, what am I doing watching this television show? As great as it is, I should be on my drawing board, right? I'm here to be doing that, right?
Turn off the TV and draw.
Yeah. So
my only connection with the bear is the actor is playing Bruce Springsteen in the biopic.
And that's actually one of my notes. Yes, it's one of my notes. And I was going to say, if we ran out of things to talk about, so we're going to do it now. You've heard me rattle on about Jim Steinman often enough. And I don't think anyone's really heard you talk about your love for Springsteen. And
I think he's okay.
His music. Okay, end of conversation. You love Springsteen, right? Are you looking forward to the biopic?
Apparently I do. I was in bed the other night, not so long ago, and I had some Bruce playing on the iPad just while I was drifting off to sleep. And she came in and she sort of shook her head slowly and said, "There's a song for everything from Bruce, isn't there?" It's like I hardly play anything else, and you think, I mean, I play Australian Crawl, and I play some Meatloaf, and I play some Alanis Morissette, and I do play other things, but overwhelming the amount on my playlist is Springsteen stuff, because he changed, whatever mood I'm in, there's always something that he can fill and tick that box.
Yeah. And there must be like days worth of music.
I've got the boss wanting a conversation. Yes,
no worries.
She's got to hit the Thunder Road. She's leaving. So you're born to run, are you?
Absolutely. Kids like us, man. Yeah. Keep growing up. Superhero stuff.
Okay. SES calls.
Yeah, I got to swap the track over.
Okay. I'll see you on the flip side later on.
4 hours.
Okay.
See you, Belle.
Okay. Tim says, "See you, Belle." No. I can't even mention that. Can't even mention that. La 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 la. Stay active. Stay active. Yes. No, I'll have to edit that bit out. La 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 la. Yeah. Don't worry, I will. Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
Yes.
Love you, babe.
I love you too. See you later.
See ya.
See you in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who that was.
Hilarious. Who was that masked woman? So yes.
So she's hopped off the mower. She's hopped off the mower. She's in a SES casual gear, and she's into the shed to do some SES work now.
Did she have a big night? I believe there was quite a few storms, and half of Tasmania was blacked out. And
yeah, she was on call for all of last week, so it was pretty heavy going.
right.
Didn't get call out that much, but it was pretty tense for a while there. I had a huge tree in the paddock, which I'll point out to you when you get here, that was been standing in the middle of the paddock across the road from me for years and years and years, and it's been dead for quite a while. And I was saying to Belle, next big blow, that's going to go over. And it's been resisting and resisting and resisting. But this last week, in the middle of the night, about a week ago, I heard this god-awful crack, like it was really close. And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was on our property, that something had broken or the fence had fallen over or something. The morning comes, I stick my head out the front window or the front door to see what was going on. And the first thing I noticed was the big old dead tree had finally gone over.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now out of my studio window.
There's a metaphor for you.
Yeah, indeed. Yes. Anyway, so getting back to what we were talking about.
Springsteen.
Oh, Springsteen. Yes, there always seems to be a song. A lot of people sort of think that he's a one note born in the USA kind of American rocker kind of thing. And he is all of that, but there's a lot more to him than that. So he's got a pretty extensive and wide style catalogue of stuff. So
I don't know a lot about him myself, but I saw Elvis Costello had a chat show for a little while where he would talk to singer-songwriters, and I watched the episode that Springsteen was on. This is years ago. And boy, was that interesting. It was so enlightening and, again, really inspiring, the way that Springsteen talked about how he would write, etc.
Yeah, he's a bit of a workaholic, and his body of work is vast compared to other singer-songwriters and things like that. A lot of people sort of poo-poo him for being a multi-millionaire these days, or for 75 or 80 or whenever he started earning the big bucks. And his working class persona is a bit of a furphy, and it's not necessarily the case. He's always been kind of upfront about him performing a certain role on stage, a performative role, a performative persona. And that working class element to his music and his songwriting actually comes from him studying his father. He had a very bumpy relationship with his dad, and all of that was wrapped up into the songs that he was singing about the working class life and factory workers, and that was all of his dad and him processing the difficult relationship that he had with his father. I can see, without doing much research into him, why people would think he's a bit of a phony or whatever. But there is some rationale to why he writes the songs that he writes.
Well, like I said, I don't know a lot about him, and my biggest problem with wanting to know more about him, because I think I'm at a stage of maturity where I probably would appreciate his lyrics a lot more than I would have even 10 years ago, let alone 20 or 30 years ago, is that I don't have the time to sit and listen to the music. And I'm sure that just putting it on in the background is not going to be enough, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff where you can do that too, but there are some albums and a lot of the songs that he's written that, you really do need to listen to the lyrics, and he's a storyteller in a lot of the songs as well. So you need to be able to slow down and listen to the story being told.
Yeah, and that's the most attractive thing for me, for someone like Springsteen, is that I'd like to hear the stories and how he tells them. Yeah, interesting.
He's 76 now.
Is he? Right, there you go.
He's just had a birthday recently, and he's not the kind of person I think that I'd sort of wish to have dinner with and have a conversation with or anything like that. Just it's his music that calls to me more than anything. He seems like a nice enough guy, but I'd just leave him alone. I don't think I'd have any questions to ask him or any conversation to have with him, because it's all been it's all in the music, or it's all been said and done and covered with the different documentaries and movies and stuff that have been made over the years. So I don't necessarily need to meet my hero or anything like that. I'd prefer to keep it at arm's length and just take what I can from the music.
Yeah. I'll probably see the biopic. I haven't seen all of those biopics. I got a bit tired of them once they started coming out very quickly. Do you know if it's theatre release or is it going straight to streaming?
It's got a short theatre release, I think, before it goes to streaming. Yeah, because it's essentially an art house movie, really.
You reckon?
Yeah. So it'll probably be higher profile because it's about Springsteen, but it's about the short period of his life before Born in the USA was released, that he was writing these songs that formed the album Nebraska. And Nebraska, the album, is seen by a lot of people who know what they're talking about to be one of his best, if not the best, singer-songwriter solo albums that he produced, that he released.
Right.
And it was just the decision was made not to. He wrote these songs. He didn't find a home for them. He didn't think they belonged on Born in the USA, which was being made at the same time. And he took some time off to just go to a rental house out in New Jersey and fudge around on demo tapes with these group of songs that were fairly low key and underproduced. And he went into the studios with the band. He wasn't happy with the results of the band versions, so he defaulted back to the demo tapes and went to John Landau, his manager, and said, "This is the album I want to release before Born in the USA, because I know that when Born in the USA hits, it's going to be huge, and I won't have the time or the inclination to do this kind of album ever again."
Wow.
So there are 10 tracks on there that on Nebraska that are just him, a guitar. The recording producer set up the recorder in his the back room of a house in New Jersey and left him to it. So it was like very underproduced, and they used the masters, the demo tapes, to be mastered to be released as the album. So, and they're just about to release.
What's the song on there that people like I would know?
Nebraska, Atlantic City. Atlantic City is probably the biggest one off Nebraska.
Right.
There were no huge, big, epic hits. It's like more seen as a cohesive whole than anything else.
Yeah,
But,
right.
again, you suppose you have to be into Springsteen to sort of rattle off the song titles and go, "Oh yeah, I know it. Oh yeah, I know it."
Yeah. Cool. I'll have a listen.
And again,
I'll put it on today.
the Nebraska album is full of stories. Each of the songs you need to listen to, and that was something that wouldn't fit into a Born in the USA pop album or pop rock album. So, this movie is about him umming and ahhing about what to do with these group of songs, and how he was getting ready to be a superstar, and he wasn't ready at all. And so he defaulted back to being in a room by himself with his guitar, just writing these set of songs that he got the
Very
band.
cool.
Yeah, there's a box set coming out shortly in the next week or two where the fabled electric version of Nebraska with the band's performances are being released. And of the 10 tracks, 8 of them were done by the band as well. So there's a box set coming out where a lot of people had heard about this electric version of Nebraska. And even Bruce thought it was lost. He was over the years of being interviewed, they were saying, "What about the electric Nebraska? Is it ever coming out? Are you ever going to release that as a extra somewhere?" And he went, "Nothing was kept. It's all gone. It's all gone." Until about 6 months ago, someone uncovered it in the archives, going, "Hey Bruce, you know the electric Nebraska thing that you say that we don't have? We have."
Wow.
So, at least 8 of the 10 tracks on the original Nebraska have been recorded with the band. And so that's being released with a couple of extra bonus tracks, like an early version of Born in the USA that fits thematically with the Nebraska album, the much slower version and things like that. So there are some rarities on there as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Has the public ever seen your homage to Is It Born in the USA album cover? I just happen to have it right here, he says. There it is. Yeah, Jackaroo homage to Springsteen. Amazing. What are you doing with that, Gary?
That's going to be the front cover to the Jackaroo primer, which is what I'm working on at the moment, which is
fabulous.
All of my editions will be made available in deluxe editions, and they'll be able to read it online as well. But there'll be this book you can download as a PDF, which is a primer about the Jackaroo, and I think we've discussed this a bit before about the different aspects of his life over his career over his life and things like that. So everything you need to know about the Jackaroo before you read the Jackaroo. Yeah,
cool. Sim did that once for Cerebus as well. It's the first time I've remembered that. We've discussed your primer a couple of times. I just remembered he did. Was that Cerebus Zero? I don't know if that was Cerebus Zero, but he did a thing that was very similar, and every page was just like quick rundown of a part of Cerebus's life. So if you're only getting into it halfway through, you'll still be able to. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I look forward to it. So there'll be no other new artwork, right? The new cover, but everything else will be lifted from.
Yeah, I think so at this stage. Yeah, I'm still compiling the text for it and trying to figure out what the graphic design is going to look like for such a beastie that isn't just a comic. It's actually got topography through it as well. So I'm just battling on how to best present that for anyone. But
I have great faith in you, Gary. Your design is always great, so I'm sure you'll hit it on the head.
Yeah, we shall see.
You know, it's interesting. There's a like I think Danny Best has said it a couple of times online as well, but there's this recurring thing in the Jackaroo where somebody gets kicked in the nuts, right? And you seem to draw that with great power, so that when you see that image as a man reading it, you kind of wince even just reading it.
There's a cruel joke going around as well about the Chaloner bulge. Have you heard?
Going around, that's been going around forever. I'm highly influenced by the Chaloner bulge. There are Chaloner bulges all over Greener Pastures issues.
Even my female characters have a Chaloner bulge. I mean, what's going on?
That I don't know. That's something you need to look deep inside yourself about, Gary, I'm sure.
Stay animated, Gary. Stay animated.
But Abry and I saw a stage adaptation of the Shirley last night at the Opera House.
Okay.
And the opening sequence was like a bare knuckle fight, place your bets. And I'm already seeing, the Australiana aspect of this and, how that relates to Jackaroo. The main character in that, Macaulay, kind of a bit of a Jackaroo character, wanders around the state, looking for work. But in that bare knuckle fight at the beginning, there was a big kick in the nuts to one of the actors. I'll go, wow, I can see Chaloner right there up on stage drawing.
I think I even did a kick in the nuts in a John Law story, the one that has the fight where he comes out to Australia and the Black Opal story. Yeah.
Even that a kick in the nuts.
Did I tell you that I recently saw Two Hands with Heath Ledger and Brian Brown?
No.
No.
And recently for the first time?
No, recently a rewatch. And I was going, wow, the tone of this film is exactly what I'd be aiming for with the Jackaroo film. The subject matter would be slightly different, but it's all very Sydney-centric. And it's very there's some Brian Brown plays a mob boss in an Australian way, wearing his stubbies and thongs and things like that. I think it's set in the 90s. So he still had the monorail set up in Sydney. And it's a great story. Heath Ledger would play a really good Jackaroo character if he had a haircut. But he's a young bloke getting into all kinds of trouble with some underworld characters in Sydney in the Cross. And it has a nice tone to it that I thought would really match the Jackaroo.
It's good to have that touchstone. We're finding it very difficult to get similar touchstones when we want to discuss the tone of a Greener Pastures television show going forward, or a feature film. Like what can we just point to and say that it's like that? But
if the tone's not right, it becomes a different thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, it's good. You need to make sure you keep that in your back pocket with your Jackaroo domino mask in your back pocket.
Yeah. It even has a little bit of supernaturalness in it. The Two Hands movie does. I'm trying to track down there's a limited edition, not director's cut, but an extended cut of Two Hands, which I haven't been able to find, but apparently it's a little bit better and plays out the supernatural aspect of things. The main character has an older brother who is who's been killed in the shenanigans involving the characters in the movie. And so the brother operates as like a ghost or a advisor character to Heath Ledger.
Right.
Tries to help him out in a couple of instances, but he's limited by the fact that he's dead. But so that element really makes it quite an interesting Australian film as well. Yeah,
that's pretty limiting, being dead. I'm just having a look on an app to see if there's anywhere that talks about streaming an extended cut, but I can't see that there.
I do know that something was released back when the movie was first put on DVD, but it's apparently really hard to try and track down. So if anyone's out there with the alternate version of Two Hands, please get in touch and let me know. I'd really be interested.
No, I don't think Samuel's got that. He got into Monkey Group for a little while. I think he had the DVD of that. but I don't think he's got two hands. I'll ask him.
Yeah, and I could actually
he's got two hands, but
stay active.
Jazz
Yeah,
hands.
I could be wrong in that the alternate version could have the supernatural stuff all edited out and it just plays it fairly straight. But I've got a feeling that there's some more scenes to it that extended that storyline.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So highly recommend it. Yes.
Brilliant.
Anything else?
Okay. I was going to say my favorite Springsteen song is the Frankie Goes to Hollywood version of Born to Run.
I don't think
Have you really never heard that?
I don't think I've heard that.
Oh my God! Look, I'm saying it to irritate you, but I'm actually honestly I find it to be an incredibly emotional experience. Listening to Born to Run by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I think it's incredible what they did with it. And you wouldn't think so, being a bunch of guys from London, but it's pretty full on. It's talking about producing, like it's overproduced, but it's in a really good way. That whole Frankie Goes to Hollywood album, I forget what that one's called. Is that Welcome to the Pleasure Dome? Is that what the album was called?
Sounds anyway, yeah.
That album is just I love almost every single thing on that album. I think it's incredible. They're
and that was the band that did the Run Away, Run Away, Run Away, Run Away. Oh, not.
Is my face giving away my poker face? You know,
there goes my singing career.
What the hell? I don't think that's them.
Oh God, excellent, good, okay.
They did Two Tribes and Relax.
Right, okay, yeah. When two tribes go to war.
That's right. Do some 80s dancing to keep animated, Gary. But they did a song on there also called The Power of Love, which I think is the last full track.
Right.
At the time when there were two other Power of Love songs out at the same time. And it's incredible. One of the best love songs I've ever heard. Just astoundingly emotionally resounding. I don't know. Anyway, it's just, it's a great album. If the kiddies at home have never really listened to it, listen to it from the very beginning. The intro with Welcome to the Pleasure Dome and all of that stuff is amazing.
Was Frankie Goes to Hollywood, did they do War?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Springsteen does a version of that as well.
Doing War and then coming into Two Tribes or vice versa.
Right,
The whole album is almost, I don't know if they really wanted it to be a concept album, but it almost feels like a concept album at times. Yeah. Did you say Prince did a version of it?
Bruce.
Bruce did a version of it. Right. Yeah, right.
Quite famous when he released his 1975 to 85 live CD thing. There was one of the tracks on that. He loves doing the occasional cover.
Yeah, right. So is that a good way to get into Bruce? I often find that back in my 20s, that's how I discovered a lot of bands I really got into, was listening to a live concert, because it was all the hits and a good personal presentation of the personality of the band, etc. So maybe
definitely
that's
there's some great live albums out there that don't really sell the Springsteen experience. His piano player Roy Bittan was the piano player on Bat Out of Hell and a lot of Jim Steinman stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think his advice, it was very inspiring for Steinman. He was trying to capture the Born to Run kind of feel. There was a big dollop of inspiration for Bat Out of Hell and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bit of a crossover in the Venn diagram there of Steinman.
Bruce Juice Springsteen. Steinstein. There we go. Yes. Okay. The only other thing I was going to talk about today was, how about we do a live call-in show, Gary? One Thursday night, when normally we drop what we've recorded, we actually do a live show, and we set up a call-in aspect on, I don't know, Messenger or whatever, and people can call in and have a chat to us instead of us just chatting to each other.
Hello, it's Danny from South Australia.
That'll be
Danny from South Australia. What can we do for you? You're all full of shit. Mm.
That would be right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe we could.
something to rattle around in your head, like the whole
There's
G&T
plenty of room to rattle around in there, that's for sure. Yeah.
the G&T book club and all of that stuff.
Yeah, we have plenty of ideas and we never do it. We never do
because
it.
we haven't run out of stupid things to talk about yet. So
No, that's true. Yeah. That's indeed true. Yes. Okay. Well, is that going to be a fairly short show for this week?
I don't think it's that short, is it, Gaz? I don't know. What time did we hit the record button?
I don't know.
I don't think I haven't really got too much else on my list of things. You might have seen my ugly mug on the socials. Inner West Libraries in Sydney recorded a little to camera thing that I did for them, talking about comic conversation. So
Right.
it looks like I'm the poster boy for comic conversation
Oh.
this year. So that's coming up soon. I think that's my next thing. It is. I mean, I'll be at the Stanleys, but I'm only there as a punter. So the next time I'm tabling, I'll be at Comic Conversation. Gosh, that'd be great if I had dates in front of me. Hey, and one of the things with Comic Conversation, which is happening Saturday week, the 25th of October at Ashfield Library in Sydney, is they contacted me and said, "Would you like to do a panel, Tim?" And I said, "Oh, that'd be nice." So, yes, I'll do a panel. What's it on? And they said, "Well, we'll probably just talk about my reading of the email." And I must have skimmed it, but my reading of the email was, "We'll talk about the current, landscape of making comics in Australia and what that's all about. And, can you suggest somebody to be on stage with you that could, help with that?" And I thought Louis Joyce would be a great one. So Louis and I are going to be on stage together. But I said Louis Joyce because of his amazing success making the Godzilla comic. And I say success, I don't know how well it sold, and I'm sure it sold really well, but just the whole idea that he went to IDW or whoever it was and said, "Godzilla, skateboarders, this little town in Australia called was it Cornell? Is it happening at Cornell? Anyway, just in Wollongong, blah blah blah." And they said, "Let's go for it." So I think that's amazing. And then he's been able to parlay that into a run on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. So I thought he would be really interesting to have as well, because he's done everything from mini comics to now, these big IPs. And I'm extremely embarrassed to say that what the panel actually is supposed to be Louis interviewing me about me, and like I'm actually a little bit
the other way around.
It probably should be. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the idea that this is, let's talk to Tim about his career and just him, and just, so I'm hoping that like I do often, I'll deflect back to Louis as much as possible.
I was going to say, you can do something about that by deflecting back to Louis.
Yeah. So all of the
just let him know. Just let him know going in.
We've had a quick chat about it, but yeah, all the scheduling information you see is going to look like it's like, Tim McEwen, this is your life, and I really don't want that. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But Samuel, my son, has got a panel with a couple of other people as well, and I haven't really memorized anything there, but there's a couple of panels that are happening beyond that as well. So it should be a good day. Again, it's nothing but comic makers, which is always a great thing. So yeah, Ashfield Library, nice and central in west of Sydney.
Ashfield.
Ashfield. Is that a Sydney accent? Ashfield.
No, I was just there's you've been talking about Ashfield for a few years now. You're an ex-Ashfield boy, aren't you?
Yeah, I went to school at a local Catholic school in Ashfield. Yeah, not Ashfield boys, but yeah. And Amber and I got married in the local church there, which her mum got married in as well.
And you bumped into Bodine there, and he almost mugged you.
Yeah, that was in Croydon, just a little bit out of Ashfield.
Yeah.
He didn't nearly mug me. We had a great chat the first time I met him. I was still in my school uniform. That was that long ago.
My only uncle lived in Ashfield for many, many years. My grandmother on the mother's side had a flat there, and they live together in Ashfield. And so we go out to Ashfield every once a month at least to visit Uncle Jack. And so, yeah, Ashfield, the Ashfield Catholic Club, the Ashfield Railway Station.
Yeah.
I know Ashfield really well.
I don't really have too many recurring dreams as such, but I have recurring settings or environments that my dreams take place in. And there's that block where the Ashfield Catholic Club is, and it's a really weird block, with a laneway out the back and whatnot. For some reason, for a good 5 or 10 years, that was a recurring environment in my dreams. It was really, it's not even like I spent a lot of time on that block. I would walk past it on the way to the train station after school.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, it's very much ingrained in my upbringing, is that little patch of Ashfield. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Same here. So that's why I say Ashfield.
Okay. I'll meet you in the tunnel. Meet you in the tunnel after school, and we'll have a punch up.
Okay, I think that's enough.
That'll do us.
Say goodbye to the kiddies.
See you later, kiddies. See you in a week.
God. Bye.